There are thousands of bird species all over the world. We used to think that they're primitive and used only instinct. But some birds, like crows and parrots, have shown high levels of intelligence. People used to think that birds could not be smart because of the size of their brains, but studies have shown that the number of neurons in the brain in relation to the brain's size is more closely related to intelligence than the physical size of the brain. And when compared to the brains of mammals, birds have more neurons in their brain, which means that birds could actually be very, very intelligent. Parrots and crows are good at solving problems because they have the ability to visualize their problem and can foresee the consequences of their actions. Parrots can also imitate calls of other members of their flock so they can communicate about food and danger. They can also use tools to solve problems and are also very playful birds. They can even eat with their feet. Crows have a very good memory and are very good at remembering faces, and have a good ability to plan ahead. We also know that in some way or form, birds communicate and can come together in groups to solve complex problems. Some bird species adapt to their environment. Take Kea parrots, for example. They live in the mountains of New Zealand, where food is scarce. They have to find new ways to find food, which means they can learn to do things differently to survive, which means that Kea parrots do not act purely on instinct, which is how we thought birds were for a very long time. Experiments have been conducted to see how crows would react to a dead crow, and after a little while, crows came and started making cries of sorrow, which means that they show emotion. To prove this even further, after studying their brains, scientists found that bird brains contain the same chemicals that cause emotion that humans have in their brain, which means that they could quite possibly show emotion. Crows can also learn from each other. In one experiment, a group of crows watched as a trained crow solved a problem. Then another group of crows came in and watched a different crow solve the same problem, but in a different way. And each time the experiment was conducted, the crows imitated the crow they saw, which means that they may have the ability to learn from each other. What's most amazing to me is that we learned all of this information about birds in just a few years. Think about what we could learn in 100 years or more. We've just scratched the surface.